What's up, Jarsep, Gormaganders, and other Tellarites, and Telosians?
They're back in the game. The last time you said the Jasep thing, did I ask for an explanation, or did we kind of just breeze past it? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't remember what it was from.
It's what those little bugs in the Spore universe are called. That Tilly's friend was made of. Was one of them.
Oh, so it's not
Jasep!
Like, so you don't like shout Jasep when you win a game of Alamarine hopscotch in that fucking dumb episode of Deep Space Nine? It's not from that?
No. No. That's what she was saying her people were.
Oh,
we are the Jasep!
Okay, Ja Rule. Yeah, now I remember. The fucking idiotic, big-faced, big-boned ghost. Oh, well,
yeah, anyway. This is episode blah of the Federation Conversation, and this is episode 8 of season 2 of Discovery. And the episode title is called If memory serves, I think the episode... wait, that is the episode title. Anyway,
David.
So this is the episode where we finally kind of get to... Well, I mean, Spock was in the last episode, but we got to see Spock this episode in more of his prime.
We got to actually see Spock. We got to actually see Spock delivering dialogue for a change, which is well overdue. I mean, when we
like
complain,
overdue, am I right?
Yeah. Whap. It's one thing when we complain about stuff, because we complain about everything in Discovery. Yeah. But when people who watch the show normally, like the people on Trek Movie, when they complain about something, it's a real thing.
What are they complaining about? I haven't heard anything.
I saw them bitch about let's see, the whole Spock thing being stretched out unreasonably long, which what are we 8 episodes in and we've only just had Spock delivering intelligible dialogue. So
I mean that's halfway through the season, and the season is 15 episodes.
They really were milking the cow. Oh, is this the halfway point?
We're at the Well, I think we're at the halfway point. I don't know. I don't think there is another halfway gap.
No. It's just this isn't like the Pokey Rap. The halfway point isn't an enjoyable acknowledgement of what they've achieved so far and rattling off all those Pokemon names. This is grueling. This is a pain in the ass.
Huh?
He says, "We're at the halfway point. You're doing great so far."
And then the chorus happens again.
Yeah, in that song it actually means something.
Pokemon.
Yeah. But in Discovery, it's like, fucking halfway?
Yeah, so we don't get a break this time, I don't think. And, that's... I guess I could use a break, to be honest, but...
oh, yeah.
Definitely... in general...
Yeah.
Okay, well, what else did they complain about?
That was really the only thing I can remember them complaining about.
Okay, cool.
Oh, no. They also complained about Michael Burnham being the center of the universe and everything revolving around her. They're like...
that's what we complain about.
We get that that she's the main character of the show, but does it have to be like this, basically? And I've been preaching to that choir since the very first episode, But anyway. So, David, how do you feel about 208, if memory serves?
Sure. I actually didn't mind this episode that much.
No, to me it was pretty good.
Because it's pulling together all the threads, all the shitty, tattered little threads that they're laying out. And they're finally coming together in some sort of cohesive story that is not as bad as I thought. Like, I don't know, I've kind of been naysaying it and kind of just... we're almost a week late. I've just been sitting here thinking, oh, fuck, I don't want to watch Discovery again. Yeah. But it ended up being better than I thought it would be. And they're kind of pulling together all the shit that they've laid out so far. And it's getting a little bit better.
Yeah, even in an unsatisfying show where the execution is crap, any kind of resolution, you'll take it. It's kind of like, oh yeah, that's all right.
Look, in this episode, we got a lot of Pike.
Yeah.
Got a lot of good acting from Pike. We got some good Ash Tyler, as opposed to the bad Ash Tyler, like the... very sparse Ash Tyler that we got before.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of meat to chew on this episode. I didn't like the line near the beginning where Pike's like, "You and I have been through a lot together recently." It's like...
They shared a shuttle ride.
I didn't think they actually went through a lot in that previous episode where they were in the shuttle. It was like, just reminding me of the shitty episodes that had passed.
Yeah.
And... Spock wasn't as bad as I thought he'd be. Like, he still has a weird, like, baby face under that beard. But, I'm not so offensive. I'm not so offended, rather, about his voice and the way he says things.
I did make one observation about that when I was watching it. It's that, I mean, for starters, he's got to lose the beard, but also, I was looking at him and thinking, he actually kind of looks similarly fucked up to the guy that plays Sarek. You know how Sarek has a weird face in this show? They're kind of both a bit like little chimps. So, casting-wise, it actually makes a lot of sense.
You know what? That's what they're doing, because, they changed the look of a bunch of different, classic Star Trek aliens. Like, the Andorians have a little flappy bit on their nose now.
Yeah.
The Klingons are all different. The Tellarites are a lot,
high budget.
3D. And so are the Vulcans, but we didn't notice.
Yeah.
Because it was just Sarek and he looked weird. But no, they're picking... Every Vulcan has a weird squished head. And it looks like Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just what they've done now. And that's fine.
Yeah. I have my mum's old Mego Star Trek figurines from the 70s, and if you squish their faces a bit, they look like the new Vulcans.
Yeah.
There's a lot to go on. This episode, for instance, you're talking about Tyler. He gets into that fight with Repro Culber in the 10 forward.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to figure out where they were going to that. Like, what's the point of this? What are they trying to... And then there's the part where Culber's like, I don't know who I am anymore. And Volk is like, yeah, me too, man. And I finally got it. So that scene retroactively made sense. But while I was watching it, I'm like, what is the point of this really sissy fight? And then the fight, like, slowed down. They're like, oh, I can't do it anymore.
They're just, like, holding each other. They're, like, start kissing.
Well, see, with the resolution, it makes sense. But for the first part, I'm like, is this necessary? More fighting? What am I watching? But yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think that what that scene does kind of highlights the fact that the choreography... Like, it's not necessarily the fault of the choreographers that the previous fight scenes with, like, Giorgio and Michael Burnham were bad. It was them being bad.
Yeah.
Because this fight scene seemed alright in terms of just, like, a fist fight.
Well, there was good build-up. You know, you could tell Kohler was spoiling for a bit of a roustabout. First goes the food tray, then the chair.
He walks up, bang, mashed potatoes.
And Sarah was like, no, we must let this happen. let it play out. Oh, well, what the fuck? I swear, he's been...
I do like the casual flip of the food tray.
Ever since he lost his little earrings, he's just been a bit of a retard.
The way the episode started...
Yeah.
I like it, but it's also goofy as... Like, I don't know... What was with all the spinning and the... You know how at the start, how they had the TOS footage? And, the frame kept spinning around and, like, the cutouts and stuff, and it was like, am I watching fucking Scott Pilgrim or something? What's going on?
It's actually... I was going to ask, did you get the previously on Star Trek segment in your version? Because I downloaded it. I don't know what Netflix gives you. So you got that?
Well, it definitely gave me that one because it's, like, part of the episode.
Okay, yeah. It was good. Yeah. I really loved seeing some crisp... high-def TOS, you know, it's looked really nice, and it's good to see real Star Trek for a change.
I thought it was a bit... I just thought the effects on it were a bit goofy. Like, they could have just shown
absolutely
the shots of what was happening.
It would have been really on the nose if they'd done it, but I thought they might have gone for, like, the tiny black and white TV version in the middle of the screen or something. I'm glad they didn't do that. You know,
I'm glad
previously on Star Trek.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You just mentioned spinny shots. Did you notice all the spinny fucking camera work? What was with all the J.J. Abrams shit in this episode? I actually looked up to see if he directed it, but he didn't. There was lens flares.
Very specifically.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing it on the Section 31 ship, but it's like, whoa, this ship and these people are all kind of twisted. As such, we're going to twist the camera. So I think they were only doing it on the Section 31 ship, although I only kind of functionally like noticed the first two of the episode, which are like the first two shots of the episode.
You know what I feel bad about is I really wanted to believe that they'd misread the audience by ordering a Section 31 show, but I was looking through the comments of that article, that review, and it was all people saying, well, hang on, actually this Section 31 stuff's not that bad, let's see where it goes. God.
Where do you think it's going to go? Leland is going to get fired or die, and then fucking Giorgio is going to be the captain, and then...
Boring.
She's going to have a dumb show.
Yeah, I just... Ugh.
Leland's not going to be in it.
Read the room, guys. Section 31 was a failure. Why is Stamets limping?
That's part of every episode. So
Stamets is limping constantly. Do I need to ask why? That's one of my notes.
Was he limping?
Yeah, he was walking Colbert down the corridor, and he just seemed to have a bit of a sore lower rib.
I feel sorry for that gay man.
Repro Colbert or Stamets?
Stamets. He's like trying so hard, like to make everything nice, and he's like, "Oh, I made you your favorite dinner."
It's not my favorite.
I don't remember this being my favorite dinner.
It's weird because I feel sorry for Stamets because it's one of the relationships I actually cared about in this show, but I'm kind of happy they're doing it because too many people have been reborn in Star Trek and not had a problem with it. Like Harry Kim just sort of dusted himself off. I guess I'm Harry Kim Mark II now. It's no big deal. But in this show, he's like...
No, Scotty. Okay, stop. He was...
Oh, did I get that wrong?
Well, he was Harry Kim. Like, he had lived everything up to that point as Harry Kim.
Yeah, but then he was destroyed and recreated. I mean...
No, he was not recreated. He was just alternate version, like an alternate universe version that had basically lived the exact same life.
Oh, okay, alright.
He lived the exact same life up to that point where the ships got split or something. There was like a weird splitting.
Alright, okay, yeah, but you got to admit the Harry Kim that was made out of goo was definitely not Harry Kim.
Yeah, that was definitely a different thing, and I'm glad that he turned to goo. Got to see the real consequences of this cloning, and you know.
I really hated this episode. Oh,
sorry, I just want to mention, like, do you remember what happens in that episode besides them all just slowly turning to goo?
Not really.
The first scene, like before the opening credits, is Tom and B'Elanna getting married because they finally decided to, you know, to fucking jump in, seize the day, get married, and then the first person to melt down is B'Elanna.
At the wedding or like after?
No, afterwards. And Tom Paris is like, "No! My wife is melting."
I didn't remember that part. I can only remember the payoff.
He doesn't do the Alice yelling thing, but
yeah. No, I only remember the payoff where they find the goo ship and they're like, it appears to be just bouncing off our hull harmlessly, Captain. I don't know what it was. All right, carry on.
Yeah. Yeah, but Saren goes, "Oh."
I have to make one big complaint about this show. Obviously, they kept it in their pocket and didn't show her in the preview, but they brought back the character of Vina for this episode now. For anybody, like David doesn't really know a lot about TOS. She was the girl in the cage, and who was expected. She was expected to breed with Pike by the alien keepers, and I had to say, I was looking at her. She's pretty hot, and she looks familiar too, and she's none less than the Australian actress Melissa George from Home and Away. I'd play a stinger if I could. And then I was kind of suppressing laughter the whole episode because I remember this thing that happened to her a few years ago. She was sick and tired of people talking about Home and Away, and she said, I don't need credibility from my country anymore. I just need them all to be quiet. I'd rather be having a croissant in Paris or walking my French bulldog in New York City. I'm not going to be a good Aussie anymore, blah, blah, blah.
I think she got those mixed up. I think the French bulldog is meant to be in Paris.
I think she wanted to cool down our hot hearts with a cool island somewhere. Like, I want a French croissant with my bulldog in my New York bulldog. Like, he could have so easily been...
fuck you too.
But anyway, this episode pissed me off because she's kind of a babe, but, like, they were showing everybody clearly except her. Like, I could see Burnham in crystal clearness in this alien cavern, but then whenever they show Melissa George, like, there's lens flares and fog, and I'm like, would you just fuck off?
Illusion.
Yeah. Obviously, this is all deliberate, and they're trying to be symbolic with the visuals, but, ugh.
Sure.
Here's me with a fire hose aimed at the crew and cast who make this program.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. You know what? Thanks. You know how you outlive your reputation as some bimbo that was on Home and Away?
Yeah.
You act better. Further your career. Who the fuck is she?
Well, you have a big call to make. Do you go it alone like Melissa George and just try and act your way out of what would you call it? Limbo.
Yeah.
What are you saying limbo because you just said bimbo? Or do you do what Isla Fisher did and marry Borat? I mean, what do? You got a choice to make.
Well, that's not what fucking Melissa George is doing. She's complaining about it. No, just go and be a better actress because right now you're only known barely for Home and Away.
Exactly.
I don't even know who she is. So I'm making all this up. I'm just assuming that's
basically her and Isla Fisher were sort of famous in the mid-90s because they look good in schoolgirls outfits. That's basically it. Yeah.
How old is she?
Oh no, it's like an actor thing. You know, they get a 20-year-old to play a 15-year-old. They get a 25-year-old to play somebody who's just about to graduate. You know.
No, but how old is she?
Now? 40?
Yeah.
Fucking 40? Oh, who cares?
No, she didn't look 40. Right.
I have a note that says, uh-oh, the buttheads are in charge now, but I can't remember what that meant. Oh, yeah, no. Right after that, Burnham says, do you only communicate telepathically? And it's like, oh, well, fine, we can move our mouths for the dummies. It's like, what was the point of that?
It's to show that they're telepaths.
Does it matter if he moves his mouth or not?
I don't know. Probably a lot of effort. They don't do a lot of chewing.
I already said
They
this.
don't need a lot of steak or anything. They've got weak jaw muscles.
I already said this from the preview of from the strength of the preview shot, but didn't really like how they looked in this. I still think they looked better in the 60s.
Yeah, they look better in the 60s. I didn't think they looked as... I mean... I don't know. My rage for how dumb they looked kind of subsided because they just... I don't know, whatever.
No, they looked okay. They served the episode.
I know they're not boys and girls and stuff, but, you know, the lady Talosian...
Yeah.
Was she, what the fuck is the... what the fuck is the female Klingon's name?
Oh,
L'Oreal.
L'Oreal. Because you're worth
Is it the same actress?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to tell, isn't it?
I feel like it was. But, I mean, she didn't say much, but, yeah.
Just the... I mean, there was no surprises in this episode. If I had to make one complaint about it, it's that I pretty much knew it was going to happen. But, I mean...
Obvious.
As I said before...
I have 3 notes. I'm going to go through my notes, alright?
Okay, yeah, you do your notes. I've done enough of mine.
The first note is SQL injection. So, Miriam is talking about it was the big meteorite, or the probe, or whatever.
Yeah.
He was trying an SQL injection in their database. I was like, what? SQL is a database language that I use at work.
It's tried and true. They'll still be using it in 200 years.
Yeah, it's like saying, oh, they're trying to hack our Java or something. It's like, what are you talking about?
Well, they are, aren't they? They're trying to hack
it. Like, why is this? Why do they have to say SQL? I don't understand it. Like, it stands for Standard Query Language or some shit. So I can imagine them having a new SQL in the future. But like, why? I don't get it.
It's still a standard, tried and true, the old classic. They got it.
I just don't know why they were so specific.
Yeah. Okay, what's your next note?
My next note is the little gambit that they played on Leland and Section 31 was
yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be. I assume it's supposed to be like a bit of a surprise, or like you're supposed to kind of see it come in and you're like, oh, I know what's about to happen. But like this was telegraphed from 1,000 miles away. I saw this coming from the fucking previous episode almost.
With the bait and switch. The fact that they beamed up illusions.
Like,
yeah, I don't...
Oh, we beamed up illusions! Oh no! They got us!
Hang on, doesn't Section 31 know that these guys live off being able to make people see shit that's not there?
No, Leland's a moron! He hasn't done any research.
He didn't read the file? What a fucking idiot!
He knows it's off limits, but for some reason he doesn't know why or anything about them.
Yeah.
What an idiot! And Giorgio only knows because... Wait, yeah, they must know. It must be on the database. They're Section 31.
I'm assuming... they're supposed to know everything before you know it, you know. Ooh.
Like, I know it's top secret or whatever, but they're Section 31, so...
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, Giorgio only knows it because she ate them in the Mirror Universe.
I blew them up in their stupid singing plants.
Yeah.
that was a good line.
And the last note that I have, of the 3 notes...
Yeah.
The last one is, I can't ask any of you to,
classic.
to join me on this mission. So if you have any objections,
classic Star Trek. I mean, it's a trope. They've got to use it sometime.
You know, like I like it in the sense that it's just so tropey, but at the same time, it's like
It becomes a matter of just how on the nose and how overpoweringly bad is it. I think the worst you're ever going to see is in Insurrection. Picard's loading up all the weapons. The door opens, and each of the 7 crew members gets a chance to have their little line saying, "Hey, it looks like you're going hunting." Oh, you know, you're... like, that's the worst one, I think, in all of Star Trek.
That is pretty bad.
It's hard to beat.
It's just... This is another one that even stood out from miles away. Like, I knew he was going to say it before he even thought of it.
Oh, I had a moment like that. Where was it? Oh, Jesus. Section 31 guy says, "You did the right thing." And it was like 5 seconds after I heard him saying it in that same voice in my head.
When did he say that?
After Pike gives up the transporter lock. And
oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's a particularly...
Yeah, this episode was very tropey.
Yeah.
But it's leading somewhere at least mildly interesting.
Yeah.
The Federation ship on the run from the Federation.
I was just weirded out. Sorry.
Spock.
Just going off track for a minute, but I was just weirded out a little by some of the camera work in this one. Very wide lenses with cameras close to people's faces, and they did it to Captain Georgiou a few times.
Yeah, like the fish-eyed lens almost.
It was weird. Is it to symbolise that she's kind of a fishy person?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't imagine so. I think it's just a weird choice by the director, and I don't know who the director was. It definitely wasn't our man.
There was a very funny scene where Saru was talking to Pike after the fight in 10 Forward, and they were talking about how, Saru, I get it, things have changed for you, but let's not do this again. And after Saru walks off, Pike is like, these aliens can be the creeps! Ooh, ooh. He even looked at the camera and said it.
Did he?
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, like, he shook Saru's hand, and as he walked off, he was like...
wiping it on his uniform. No, but then Saru made that little noise after they were done talking.
I thought I imagined that. I heard that. I thought I imagined it, but I guess...
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot to work in this. It wasn't a bad one, but...
It was alright.
Not great.
And I know what the next episode is called. It's like Operation Daedalus or something.
Oh! For a minute I thought you were kidding. No, it is, yeah, something like that. And they go into Section 31 itself. I gathered that from the trailer anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's got Admiral Lesbian in it. But we are going to get some payoff on this ridiculous...
Wait, aren't they on the run? Why are they going to Section 31? That's the worst place to go.
No, that's what they're not expecting. Go right down to the Dragon's Lair.
Run right into them.
But
football tackle, yeah.
The one upshot of all this is we're going to get, finally, some sort of explanation as to why Robot Miriam is such a player in this plot. Because I'm getting really sick of... She's more annoying now that she has a name. Now I know who to hate. It's kind of...
Well, she's had a name for a long time.
What a bitch.
She had a name in the first season, but,
But there was a shot of her dumb robot face in this episode. They got the camera nice and close so they could see the red eyes blinking.
That was the last shot of the episode.
That's so dumb. I did like... Oh, during the flashbacks to Spock and Burnham's childhood, they had the classic kick the puppy in the face. In a movie, you have to abuse someone to end the relationship.
It's the classic Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh my god, that's in my notes! How did she get...
It was John Lithgow saying, "Get out of here, Harry!"
Oh my god, how the fuck did you pick that?
I've never seen the movie.
It's
just like go-to for that trope.
Oh, I have seen Harry and the Hendersons. Oh my god. This is why people used to accuse us of being the same person online.
Well, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it?
Well,
it's the Harry and the Hendersons trope.
Yeah, classic.
What I liked was when they when they were splicing between adult and child versions of them. The last bit was Sonequa Martin Green yelling at the kid, saying, "You weird half-breed!" The kid's like, "Oh." Classic.
This is more bullying than I remember.
Child. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just... And again, I mean, we've already bitched about this a few times, but the stakes... All sentient life is going to end. I mean, I was watching that thinking, okay, here we are. It's Shabbos, Jewish day of rest, which I'm allowed to violate only in an emergency. Explain to me why this is... I want to know why the ending of all sentient life is a bad thing, because, honestly, if I was living in this universe that we're being shown, I'd be kind of hanging out for it. I want it all to end. Yeah, just on the strength of Burnham and...
This is the kind of thing where the world revolves too much around Michael Burnham and Spock, by extension as well. Because, why did the Red Angel save her as a kid? She's going to be, some sort of, emissary to... She's going to be the emissary to the Prophets. Oh. She's going to supersede every accomplishment that the later captains had.
Yeah. What the... It's
just like, why did the Red Angel have to save her life to Spock, and now it's trying to save everyone's lives, all of humanity, and why did they Why did it help that weird colony with the religious people as well? It's like,
and are we taking bets on whose face it's going to be when they pull the head off the Red Angel? Like, who's in there? Who's in the suit?
Didn't I say it was Jonathan Frakes?
I'm hoping for. We got to hear Spock say "suit" at least 3 times this episode, which is very funny.
Or what else did I say? Oh, it's Geordie with the weird future eyes.
Future Geordie. Well.
Yeah, with the weird irises instead of the visor.
It's going to be Picard. It's a tie-in with the Picard show. It's when he builds the suit. Fucking kid.
Oh, yeah. I bet. Nah, I hope not.
I don't know.
It's a human. I mean...
Yeah, they've narrowed it down. How do they even know it? How do they know it's a human?
Because Spock knows human emotions.
I guess.
Spock
and
did a mind meld.
Typical Vulcan. You mind meld with some random. I thought it was supposed to be a big deal when you do a mind meld. He's like, my thoughts to your... I don't know.
Well, it is a bit... yeah, I mean, he's irrecoverably changed by that experience, just like Picard and Sarek were when they mind melded. Oof. You know, that fundamentally changed Picard's character.
Yeah.
You know, he held in him memories of Sarek and Spock. And,
you know...
Ever since that, everyone just mind melds for just any fucking reason. Like, that's the one time they treated a mind meld like it was fucking special.
Yeah, in the first Star Trek, the first few mind melds were like, you know, you could really get fucked up, Spock. Are you sure you want to do this? And then afterwards it became kind of like a superpower. He just does it all the time. Man, I'm just thinking about that Sarek episode now. You know, you can actually get your hands cut off in the Middle East for writing television that bad. No, I actually liked the Sarek episode, but I didn't like how Picard was like, well, we shared something special. Clearly, I'm the most important...
Oh, what, you mean the TNG episode? I thought you meant the first season of Discovery episode.
No, I was talking about TNG, I was just joking.
No, but that's great!
It was a good episode.
You were crying at the musical, the concert.
It was a good episode, but I hated his wife. And, again, I hated some of this Picard stuff afterwards in Unification. Well, we shared a special bond. I'm now the most important man in his life, and...
That means you hate Unification. That doesn't mean you hate Sarek.
Spock's like, you know, you remind me of another captain. It's like, oh, geez, does everything have to be a fucking dick-measuring contest?
You don't like Unification. That's... you're racist, you're against Unification.
Yeah.
That's fine. You're a right-winger, you don't want Unification.
I'm the right winger. You know, I just tweeted a photo of you wearing a MAGA hat, David. I found a photo that you're very, very embarrassed about.
Hey, yeah, but the MAGA kids were in the right. They were just standing there. I
really wanted to Photoshop myself onto the Indian, but I couldn't find a photo of me from that angle.
Pull out my Beretta!
R. Kelly's getting a raw deal.
Have you listened to Trapped in the Closet recently? I was listening to it today.
Not since the events. Not since the interview. I keep wanting to listen to it.
Also, did you listen to Ignition and Ignition Remix that I sent you today?
No, I haven't actually done that yet. But David, don't run the door! Betsy no more!
Yeah, no, it's a classic. As is all of his music, and we should definitely separate the artist from the art.
We should separate the artist.
Everyone go out. Buy an R. Kelly
Yes,
record.
we should really separate the artist from his crimes as well.
And send some bail money. Help him out.
Isn't that what somebody did? They bailed him out with a...
I mean, the official story was that it was a fan. It was probably just somebody who had some of his money, you know. Because he's hiding his money, so he doesn't have to pay child support.
You want to know what's really hard about this week in music? Is that everyone's like, leaving Neverland was a revelation. Oh my god, how could we possibly... Meanwhile, I'm like cruising around the house singing... to myself, and what's the other one? Bad. I got this music stuck in my head. It's so good, and like, you know, I'm really
just a little bit of a. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. Yeah, I just doing something. Fuck me, what man?
Sue me, you can never. And like everyone's probably going on and on with their little fucking speeches about how conflicted it is and stuff. I'm not feeling any conflict. He's dead, and the music is just...
That's not dead. Didn't we already know all this? I haven't watched the fucking...
all seriousness now, not joking around anymore. This fucker, I mean, we all knew he was a fucking kitty raper, right? I mean...
I just don't know what the revelation is. Again, I haven't watched the documentary, but I just assumed that we all knew it. I mean, why else would he have that reputation?
It's to me, it couldn't be more obvious. I mean,
was it not credible before, and now all of a sudden it's credible?
I was talking about this shit with my wife, and basically, it's like kind of a. I heard it's really more about the last thing on people's lips and how things look, and in this case, it's just created an air of Michael Jackson rapist. Whenever you hear him now.
Oh, okay. So before the last thing that happened was that he was dead.
Before that, Michael Jackson dead. Oh, boom, boom, boom.
Before that, on all the newspapers.
Before that, Michael Jackson acquitted. Was the last thing that people sort of.
Justin Timberlake released a single with him.
It's just a word association thing. The last thing, you just go off. So for a while, you couldn't really talk about him because he was on trial. It's like, oh, he's on trial, and then he was acquitted, and then this happened and that happened, blah blah blah. But now that he's dead, there's really nothing left for him to do, and now a Netflix thing or HBO or whatever the hell it is comes out. And that's hogged the limelight. And now it's all about how things look.
I think JT's going to have to release another single with Michael Jackson where he sings, where he does a little duet.
He's going to rehabilitate the public. I mean, it really gives a shit anyway. But
look, R. Kelly is going to see his day where he's acquitted. I didn't do this. How stupid would I have to be? I gave you 30 years of my career.
I haven't watched it yet. I gotta watch that interview.
You gotta watch. There's multiple. You'll probably have to go to multiple videos to get the full clips.
Yeah.
But he like stares at me. I can't believe this. 30 years of my career. He's standing up and he's going. Duh.
It's the Da Vinci Code. You gotta piece it together from.
How stupid would I have to be to chain up multiple girls? Hundreds, you said, in my basement. Don't let him eat, don't let him sleep, don't let him leave the house, unless you're going down the street for some shoes. It's great. It's a classic. I'm annoyed that I have to go to so many different videos, and like you can't find one that's not edited with, sensationalist YouTube shit on it.
Oof.
Yeah. No. It's like last night on the Gloria What's-a-Face show, Mr. R. Kelly did the thing.
I'm a little confused.
Show me the clip. Show me the raw footage.
It's less of a scandal, but this week people have been laying into Tucker Carlson because of some shit he said on the radio over a period of years. And again, it's kind of we all knew he was a retard because he wears this bow tie. He has this ridiculous hairdo. He just, I don't know, says stuff that's dumb. It's pretty simple. And now everyone's like, oh, did you hear? He what he said about girls and black people and blah blah blah.
It's one of those things where he doesn't lay low. He's one of the top presenters on Fox News, but he just has a steady rhythm of bullshit and misogyny and whatever. And all of a sudden, when you go back and find a little spike of it,
it
brings him. It's the last thing on your lips.
The last thing.
I don't know. I don't actually know anything about it other than no shit. He's a jerk.
Yeah. I don't know.
Have you seen that bow tie?
Have you
seen the way he reacted to Jon Stewart when he called him out?
That was the thing. It was so familiar because I knew there was I saw Tucker Carlson. I was like, where's he from again? And then I remembered about 10 years ago I'd watched that video where Jon Stewart just ripped on him, and I watched it again. It was so good. It was just.
It's good. It's good.
Good stuff.
One more thing I want to say about stuff. Did you see the trailer for Aladdin?
Ooh! Now, is it mandated now in Disney law that all of the villains have to be pussies so as to not scare the kids?
Well, I mean, did you watch Beauty and the Beast, right? Do you think Gaston was a pussy?
Absolutely. He sounded like a tiny fucking manlet. If I couldn't take him, then we could comfortably take him together. You know what I mean? Like, Gaston is supposed to be someone that could, I don't know, do that in huge physical labor, arms like tree trunks.
Sorry, I thought you were trying to find a quote from the song.
Yeah, well, I mean, take any line from the song.
Now I eat 5 dozen eggs.
No, I understand it's hard just putting the expectations of a cartoon character onto a human who's, finite and only able to portray so much. But at least have him sing like the big guy. Like, you hear Gaston's voice and you imagine a big guy.
Well, look, I think in this situation, I don't. What's the guy's name? I can't remember what his name is.
And also, fuck Josh Gad. Sorry.
Why do you like Josh Gad?
I just don't like him. He's no Nathan Lane.
He did a good job in the Mormon musical.
All right, I'll give him that.
Mormon.
Sorry, keep going anyway.
Oh, no, I'm sure you haven't actually heard that. Whatever the guy's name is in Beauty and the Beast, I think you're giving him a bit of a hard rap compared to this guy who is in Aladdin, who is does not fit the character of Jafar at all.
No,
because it's not even like he's just a lamer version of Jafar. It's like he's got a tiny little voice.
Yeah.
And he's he's like got a little chiseled jaw, and he's like, "Ooh, look at me! He's more handsome than Aladdin is in this film."
I noticed that. You know, I have a theory.
He's more handsome than the guy they picked for Aladdin. And you know, when the Sultan says, "But you're so old," like he doesn't want Jafar marrying his daughter. That's why he has to do the whole mind control thing with the staff. It's like this guy. I mean, because he's a pussy, maybe. Yeah, you don't want to marry his daughter, but like, come on.
I do have a theory.
He doesn't have the evil voice or anything. He's just a little pussy.
This might be a bit off base, and so if I'm saying something really bad here, please stop me. But I think it might just be that they're a little scared of casting someone that could even remotely be slightly misconstrued as an evil Arab stereotype. Which is ridiculous because he is evil and an Arab because he's Aladdin.
Everyone in the film is Arab besides Will Smith.
Yeah, but they don't want to have your typical carrying the fucking cutlass in his teeth kind of. Well, that's a pirate, but you know what I mean, like the welcome to Agrabah. We are evil,
Well, that's stupid because that's. I mean,
I might be wrong, but that's just.
I mean, the way you're saying it, I kind of agree that that's probably what's happening.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of more evil. Get an older guy at least. He doesn't have to be completely. Get it like Ben Kingsley. You know that guy?
Oh, that would be so good.
Ben Kingsley as Jafar. Somebody recommended Alexander Siddig. I was like, no, his voice isn't. He doesn't have the right voice for it. But even him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That would be great.
Look, that's just going to be
this weird little cuck.
That's going to be the constant with these Disney remakes, is that there's always going to be a glut of massively more qualified people that don't get the job.
Well, look,
it's how it is. You want to see Ash Tyler as Aladdin?
Yeah. Especially, I don't like this Aladdin guy. The guy that they're getting to play Aladdin.
Yeah.
He's like, there's one particular shot where he says, "Do you trust me?" And he's like standing on the carpet, and it looks like a fucking Bollywood. Not because he's not white, but it's just seems so low production, and his acting is so bad.
Oh yeah, everything about this looks cheap and lazy. Same as Beauty and the Beast. That looked very cheap. And I'm looking at this and thinking, it all looks like corner cutting to me. Like the genie. Guess what? They can't be bothered making him big and blue in every shot, so now he's just walking around like a mortal for some reason. Like, yeah, I'm Will Smith.
Like just sitting around as Will Smith?
Yeah, actually, no, I don't. It just looks like a fucking Mad TV sketch now. Like...
Oh, and I'm pretty sure they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They were going to turn Friend Like Me into like a rap song, because Will Smith, that's his shit.
I'm almost kind of glad that they're doing that. Any distance they can make between the good one and this is...
Yeah.
It'll make it...
Like, I get what you mean, yeah.
It'll make it its own thing. It'll have its own identity. If we want to make fun of it, we can make fun of it. But it's not going to be like an inferior, horrible, auto-tuned version of the original, which is what happened with Beauty and the Beast.
You just know that when the song starts...
Yeah.
It's going to have the trumpets.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then he's going to sit down with his Alibaba has them 40 thieves, and it's going to sound like Getting Jiggy with it.
You know what?
Alibaba had them 40 thieves.
Actually, I could live with that. I mean, I don't want these remakes to happen.
Because it's different?
Because it's kind of... I mean, I can make fun of it. It's like Wild Wild West.
Sure. No, you can't make fun of Wild Wild West.
Yeah, I can. It's a bit shit.
Wow. One other thing that annoys me about the trailer...
Yeah.
was there's There's so many trailer tropes nowadays.
Yeah.
There's the boom, 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 boom in the background, and the doom when he was looking at the princess for some reason. It's like fucking Obi-Wan shutting down the shield generator when he looked at the princess.
Yeah.
And it's just this constant thumping of this big boom, 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 boom through a whole new world. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, that's trailers for you know.
Come on.
Yeah, everything's rhythmically applied effects, and yeah, it's just all garbage. I do have a request to make for this video, actually. Can the thumbnail be the two Telosians with Will Smith in the middle?
Yeah. As Blue Genie, or?
You know what? Surprise me. It could be regular incognito Genie. I don't really mind.
You just want Will Smith in the middle.
If we could have like an unlimited budget, I'd actually want the two Telosians bending Melissa George over while she eats a French croissant and her French bulldog runs away.
You know that's what we're doing.
But, you know, since we...
She's been on that planet for years.
Yeah, she's loving it. Pike's looking at how hot she is, but in his mind he can't stop thinking about how fucked up she looks in real life.
Was that part of the original episode?
Yeah, she
Speaking to her all melted with melted cheese on her face.
She was the sole survivor of a survey team, and she was all fucked up. It's like saying that she got fucked up by the crash.
Fucked up.
But anyway,
gnarly.
So yeah, Aladdin coming at you, Q4 2020. When's it coming out?
Was it in May?
It's like this year.
It's coming out in May. It's like 2 months away.
Hit render. How long is this going to take? May? Alright, fine. Fucking, I swear to God, Sausage Factory production line filmmaking at its absolute peak.
Yeah, they've got it all done in Final Cut Pro. They're just...
You know, I think I like the previous incarnation of Disney more. The one where they just took fables and fairy tales that they hadn't got round to yet and turned them into CG movies. Like, I could live with that. Like, Frozen wasn't good, but, you know. But this...
Wait, so the last iteration was, like, what?
Well,
like, 5 years ago?
Tangled is like Rapunzel and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frozen was like, fuck knows.
How much better would Moana have been if Toto had done the soundtrack and the hit song was just Rosanna, but like...
Moana. I like the soundtrack from Moana, honestly.
I haven't seen it.
I like the soundtrack because it's quintessential Lin-Manuel Miranda.
You know, I
can
felt...
tell that he wrote those songs.
I felt shut out. I didn't watch Moana because I was sick and tired of all those people saying, you know what, your kids shouldn't dress as Moana for Halloween. It's wrong. And I'm like, alright, fine. You can have your goddamn fucking island of fantasy. I'm booking out of here. I don't care. I'm not...
At least watch the big Lin-Manuel Miranda songs.
What was the Lin-Manuel you sent me the other day? It was fucking bizarre.
Oh, it was him doing like a Broadway... Yeah, they're cheering for me now.
That one? What the hell is he thinking?
They are cheering for me now.
It's too autobiographical. Whoa.
It's just too, like, wanky Broadway. It's like, written by Broadway, listened to by Broadway. Oh.
It's way too autobiographical is what I meant to say. It's so much more ostentatious than something like We Are the Champions.
Hey, did that Mary Poppins movie come out? Did that actually come out?
You're waiting for that Emily Blunt, are you? That fix?
It says it came out in 2018.
Really? I must have missed that one.
Been out for 3 months.
Gosh. There you go.
I listened to a bit of the soundtrack the other day. Yeah. And Lin-Manuel Miranda is putting on a weird British accent.
Oh, I can't live with that. I can't cope. I like Lin-Manuel. That guy, and I like some bits of Hamilton, but he has to learn when to lay off, and I think that song is one example.
Cheering for me now?
Cheering for you. You know, I'm not cheering for you now. I'm cheering for Hamilton. That was good work. Well done, Lynn. But this thing...
Never even listened to it through all its glory. What's the story of Hamilton, Scotty?
Well...
Pop quiz.
Secretary Jefferson. No. Dun, 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 dun. I'm waiting for the film version. I'm sorry. Oh, speaking of the film version,
I hope that happens. And I hope it's just basically the stage version filmed.
All
the same actors.
I'm gonna hold this pose. Is Halo MCC gonna run on Windows 7? Can I play it with you,
Scotty? I don't know. You asked me this before the podcast. I don't know what's happening with the Master Chief Collection. It's on Steam.
It's a quick time event. You're tapping F and pushing the lightsaber against me because we're in a duel. Sorry, I'm doing poses. All right. Can I have a second hard drive with Windows 10 on it, or would that not work?
I'm sure you can, Scotty, but I'm not tech support. I'm only tech support at work.
Yeah, SQL. You're the guy. You got the facts.
I write SQL. I don't know it. I don't speak it. No, it's yeah, I'm sure you can have a partition on another drive. I don't know. Fuck.
We have to play Halo.
I know we have to play Halo. Do you even know if it's going to have co-op? Is it going to have online co-op, Scotty?
Yeah. It comes with Xbox Live. You have to. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, my mind was regurgitating something I read before. No, not Xbox. Not Xbox. What's the current Xbox gaming thing? Would you sign in called?
Xbox Live.
It used to be games for Windows or whatever, and then they got rid of it.
I don't know. Xbox Live.
You know what?
It's called Xbox Live on the Xbox.
Forget I asked. All I want to do is just play that Halo 2 level where we beat the fuck out of the Prophet. Alright, sue me.
Do you want to play the new Mombasa one where you walk down the alleyway and you get sniped by like 3 jackals at once?
Oof. That was rough.
And the lady goes, "Are we done here?"
Oh, I hated that.
Time you reload the checkpoint. Are we done here?
Oh man, I hated that shit. But they're adding Reach, David, to the collection.
Oh, cool. And Halo 4 as well. I haven't actually played Halo 4, so there you go.
There you go. We're going to be knocking it out of the park together.
You stop barking at me? What the fuck? Dog's...
Well, anyway, that's the Federation conversation for another week. And David, we've got to start doing these on Friday, man. Is that actually possible? Can we do them on Friday?
I mean, yeah, if you want to fucking do that shit on Friday, yeah, sure.
Well, it's half an hour, knock it out of the way and not have to worry about it. I mean, that's preferable to me to waiting days and days and...
I don't know, I like spending time with my family, and then for the rest of my week, I like working non-stop.
Alright, okay. Well, yeah.
I sent you a list of the things I have to do.
I couldn't read it. I was looking at it thinking, oh yeah, it's interesting, and then I was like, hang on, Facebook has blurred this. I can't read it.
Okay. Well, just to let you know, there's only 35 items on it.
That's not bad. Well done. Oh, but you haven't done
them.
You haven't done them yet?
I've done them.
Alright, fine, whatever.
That's all, 90% of that shit in that list it came up in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay. Well, David, I don't have all the answers. All I'm saying is, this kind of thing, a reaction to a show, is sooner rather than later is better. Not just for...
I think a week is too late?
Absolutely. But anyway, we'll figure that out. Don't worry about it. How many more episodes of this season are there to go?
No, fucking... I guess there's 7 more, because there's no break.
Okay, good, alright.
We're mainlining this right into our dicks.
Alright. Well, we'll catch you all next time, then.
Injecting it straight into our balls.
And the next one's going to be a Section 31 episode. God fucking damn it!
You don't like Section 31?
No. I'm not a fan.
I like the guy that they got to be the Section 31 guy in Deep Space Nine.
He's a good actor. He's Death from Bill and Ted.
Is he?
Yeah. You may be a king or a little...
He's from Shawshank or something, isn't
he? Yeah, same guy. Am I thinking of
the same? I can't remember who he was in Shawshank. Who was he in Shawshank?
He was a prisoner. He says that he delivers the comedic line, Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
He's a good man.
Alright. Well, we're all innocent here anyway. David, that's about it. You ready to rock?
What does that mean?
The theme song's going to play, and then we're going to dance our way out.
Oh, okay. Go on, do it then.
Okay, here comes the music.
I fucking dare.
Fuck it. I'll do it then.
You do it?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.